It's intercepted. Shaquille Griffin makes an incredible play. Looks out of the gun, runs the option, keeps it. He is into the end zone for the Knights touchdown.
Welcome to Knightline Postgame Live. When the clock expires, we go live. Night Nation's only call-in postgame show goes live now. All right, Night Nation, this is Knightline Postgame Live. Sorry for the little bit of a delay there. My computer decided to update right when I was about to start the show, which is absolutely crazy, but it happens. I haven't even got stats pulled up yet, so bear with me here. I do have Trace on the phone. Trace, tell us about what you saw at the game. You're at FIU right now. Tell us about it real quick while I pull some stuff up.
Yes, Andrew, leaving FIU Stadium, a dominating performance for the Knights, 53-14 over the Panthers. And I'll tell you, it was a night in which UCF faithful came out loud and strong, clearly outnumbering the meager turnout by the Panthers fans. UCF was fast and fierce all night long. 6 rushing touchdowns. You don't need to look that one up, Andrew, as those stats pop up for you. UCF had control of this, 500-plus yards, limiting FIU to under 200, and a lot of that came in garbage time for the Panthers. UCF now 2-2 on the season, heading to East Carolina Saturday for the conference opener, and East Carolina was shellacked today by Virginia Tech, so they're going to come in angry about that loss. But UCF building some momentum. And, you know, when we went into this season, we looked at the schedule and the home opener against South Carolina State, and this game in Week 4 against FIU, really felt like these were games that UCF could win. And those other 2 on the schedule, Michigan, we thought would be a loss. Maryland, thought we'd lose to them. We were in that game, had a chance to win that game. But overall, I think being 2-2 in the month of September and heading into conference play is about optimistically where UCF fans felt they'd be after the first 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, you know, it looks like we saw a bunch of quarterbacks in there tonight. Wasn't really looking forward to seeing that many, but I saw people in there that I've never even seen before, which was kind of interesting. I didn't even know some of these guys were on the team. I guess
Mackenzie Milton going out, you know, UCF with a big lead, and he remained on the sidelines. I don't know what the TV broadcast show. He was a little gimped on the sideline, but nobody seemed too concerned. Initially, doctors huddled around him and talked with him, but he was standing there on the sideline. And Nick Petty came in and you know, directed the offense, you know, running the ball and doing what was needed there. And we even saw Pete DeNovo, you know, the answer to a trivia question of UCF quarterback playing Penn State in Ireland, right? So we did see quite a few faces tonight. And UCF, you know, what we saw last week against Maryland, hard hitting again this week against FIU. And other than that, special teams, bit of a blunder there, where the short punt returned all the way near the UCF goal line and setting up that easy rushing touchdown. UCF really bottled them up, contained them. This FIU team now 0-4 on the season. They're not a very good team, and UCF did what it needed to do. Came down here and took care of business.
All right, before we take some calls here, what were the things that stood out to you about tonight?
6 rushing touchdowns. Certainly, Adrian Killens, golly, he's fast. It is such a joy to watch him take off and run with that ball. I messaged you earlier, and when McKenzie was just not getting off to a good start, he settled down, and his stats, you know, were decent after that. He's a work in progress, and I would say big improvement in that we didn't have any turnovers, and that with the 6 fumbles last week, losing 3 of them, was a key contributor to losing to Maryland. This week, no turnovers. I'd still say, though, after 4 weeks, penalties are still a problem for this team. They're going to have to correct that. Tough conference games coming on, but boy, I'll tell you what, as this team gets more and more confident, you just feel that some of those games on that schedule that you might have had questions about are starting to feel like, boy, we have a really good chance. And I know we say 6-6 and the possible bowl bid. Those are still things that are out there, going from 0 wins to 6 wins. What a great season that would be. I know UCF has their sights set higher, and improvement week in and week out. And playing some of these freshmen, boy, that's going to pay dividends down the line for the Knights.
Yeah, well, this is, totally a different thing than we've ever seen before. Well, not ever, but that we've seen in the last couple of years anyway. It's a big change, it's unbelievable. And if we can keep going like this, I know we get into tough conference play coming up, but, we can do it, I think. If we play like we played tonight, and I don't know about some of these injuries. The things that I've heard about Juwan Hamilton are not good. So I've seen some pictures of him on the sidelines with crutches and ice on the knee. He was crying, supposedly, and people have been consoling him. So that doesn't look good to me. I hope that it's not something that ends his season this early. That would be horrible.
It would be a loss if that's a serious injury for Juwan, but I think we've seen some other players getting into action tonight that make you feel good about the running game. And a shout-out to the Lions, both sides of the ball, taking care of business tonight, and I think that has been a pleasant surprise for the Knights through the first 4 games.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm trying to do a couple little things here, but I'm going to get to phone calls. We have a new phone system, by the way. Very, very cool, courtesy of Vonage. And so we are going to be able to take multiple phone calls. There will be a little bit of a delay, I think, between the calls, but you'll be able to hear each other but with Trace being on the line. Trace, do you want to remain on and take some phone calls, or can you do that right now?
I can remain on the line for a little while. I will tell you, honestly, Andrew, that we're going to make our way to a local watering hole. So at a certain point, I'm going to jump off the line and celebrate this victory. But for now, as I make my way to the car, I am happy to be a part of Knightline.
I understand that. Hey, I'm going to let you go real quick here because I need to take this phone off of the Do Not Disturb thing because the phone kept ringing even before I was on the air, which is totally cool, and I want all those people to call back. I hope they're listening. I picked it up one time and told one guy, I'm like, hey, sorry, my computer's updating. Computer's all good, so I'm going to hang up on you. I'm going to call you back, though.
I will await your call.
All right. All right, here we go. Charge on. All right, so bear with me, people. I'm trying to figure out this phone. It's a really, really cool phone. Like I said, courtesy of Vonage. Sorry for the dial tone there, but we're going to be able to get multiple callers on, and it will be very cool. I worked really hard to get this going, and Vonage has been very, very helpful, and I'm just pushing buttons here. We will get a hold of Trace here again. Sorry for the ringtone and all that stuff. And I hope he picks up.
This is Trace.
All right, you're back. All right, now we can start taking some phone calls. That would be a beautiful thing. Let me remember the number. That would be probably a good thing. If, oh boy. Yeah, I thought it would. Oh, here we go. First phone call. You're on Knightline. What's up?
Hey, it's Night Bengal.
Hey, Night Bengal. Trace, can you hear Night Bengal?
Yes, I can.
I can. Oh, there he is.
All righty, good. So both of you can hear each other. That's a beautiful thing. Hey, Vonage, I love you. So, Night Bengal, what do you think about the game tonight?
Well, super excited about our offense, number one. To Trace's point, the line, I've kind of seen it progress. Last game against Maryland, they were doing a little bit better in pass protection, but now they've really got the run game going. And watching these guys just burst through the line, really hit holes and just go has been amazing. And Killens, my goodness, that guy, when you see...
Are you still there? Please tell me I didn't hang up on somebody.
I am. This is...
All right. Night Bengal, are you still there?
Yeah, I think I was talking to your commercial. It was great.
I'm sorry. I think, Trace, are you still there?
Trace is here.
Okay, good. I got you back. I apologize. I haven't figured this thing out yet. I've got more buttons to push now. It's a beautiful thing. Night Bengal, I'm sorry. Continue from where you heard our little commercial there.
Okay, I think I got to Killens and just watching him work when he gets into open space. I mean, watching that guy accelerate and hit another gear, it's an amazing thing to watch and really speaks to, the whole UCF fast ideology and watching him do that and really make plays. It's an amazing thing.
Absolutely. We got, I think, a winner in a bunch of kids that we weren't sure what was going to happen with them. So that is a beautiful thing. I'm still trying to I've got some stats pulled up here, but I haven't quite got them.
Bengal, let me ask you this. If the injury to Juwan Hamilton is more serious than certainly we hope, what impact do you think that will have on the running game?
Well, I think we do have enough weapons and depth. I think there were 8 different running backs that got touches this evening. So obviously C.J. Jones is not going to be the level of Taj McGowan or any of the other guys ahead of him. But Dontravius Wilson, I mean, wow, what a night. He was really hitting the right hole and going. Now, again, this was against a 0-3 FIU team. But when he picked a hole, he went through it, he burst, and he was carrying tacklers with him. So I was really excited to watch that. And then you've got someone who, like Killens, who you can toss it out, change a pace, break a big one, and keep going. So I think the offensive line is to a point where we don't have to rely on the running back to make the play. I think last year, if we watched that season at all, the offensive line was such a mess that, I mean, half the time before they even got 2 steps forward, there was already someone in the backfield taking them down. So with Javon going down, I mean, as many other players as we've been playing, I think they'll definitely be, it'll hinder his development a little bit, but I think we have enough weapons to keep that run game grinding.
All righty, that sounds good. Thank you for your call, Night Bengal. Really, really appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys doing this. I really do, and it's good that you keep advancing the technology. So those listeners like me, we can enjoy it, and we really appreciate everything you put into it.
Right on, man. I'm trying so hard. You have no idea. All right, we got another phone call coming in. Let me grab this one real quick. Thank you very much for your call, Night Bengal.
Go Knights.
Charge on.
Charge on.
Charge on.
All right. You are on the air. What's going on?
Hi, this is Mike from Orlando. And,
hey, Mike.
I drove down to the game for the weekend and just driving back to the hotel now.
All right, so what were your thoughts on the game tonight?
I thought it was a great win. I mean, it was the best win we've ever had versus FIU, even when Blake Bortles was playing. That's a big difference from last year. I thought that Killens was amazing, explosive, and we're off to a good start when we scored first and went for the 2-point conversion, and from then on it was pretty much pedal to the metal. It was just a great win, 53-14. I was hoping we'd get 70. I guess I was getting a little greedy.
What's that? I'm sorry. You were hoping what?
That we'd get to 70.
Oh, well, yeah.
I don't know what the UCF record is. I think it's like 62 or 66. I know we beat Connecticut UConn like 62 to like 3 one year.
Yeah, and then a couple of years ago we had that one against Georgia Southern that was pretty high too. So,
I think you make a good point about the going for 2 after that first touchdown. It really sets a message, sets a tone, doesn't it? When Scott Frost is aggressive like that.
Yeah, I don't think I think Scott Frost is fearless, and I don't think he had any respect for FIU at all, and which is good because that's the mentality we have to have if we're going to beat some of these conference AAC teams. But there was definitely more fans, UCF fans. They were really loud, much more than FIU fans. We definitely outnumbered, and I would say 2-1. Overall, it wasn't a big crowd, but we definitely outnumbered them 2-1. Very good turnout. We have a pretty good traveling fan base at this point. And
yeah, Trace,
again,
you can tell us a little bit more about that. I think that there were probably more UCF fans there than there were FIU fans, correct?
I think it was certainly 2-1, to be honest with you. I think it was more like 2-1. I would say it was probably...
Oh, yeah, you guys were both there. I'm sorry.
3,000 to 5,000 UCF fans, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 FIU fans. And we were much louder. You could definitely hear us on third down. On third down plays defensively, and it was almost embarrassing for them to hear the noise. That program is having some issues for sure.
Alrighty.
And it was nice to have the UCF band there as well, and full turnout from the band. That really contributed to the overall atmosphere of the game for the night.
It was great, yeah. I mean, it's a nitro there, and the band. The thing is, all the UCF student section and all the regular sections were all compacted into one section, so it was pretty rowdy. And actually, there was beer sales at this game because it's not a University of, it's not a Florida stadium as far as a University of Florida, or since FIU is in, kind of a private or institution, so they served beer at the game, which I was a little bit pleasantly surprised about. But
oh, you know what? Did I just hang up on you? Hello, are you still there?
Yeah.
All right, I thought I hung up on you.
No, it's okay. So the fact that they were selling beer was a big thing. The lines were really long on the UCF side. I actually walked over to the FIU side just so there was actually no line. So that was kind of nice because, in the Bright House you have to only can get drinks in the premium seatings.
Yeah, that's a cool thing. Hopefully we can get that working here at UCF. I'm sure we would all appreciate having some drinks inside the stadium. That
it's
definitely
a huge moneymaker for the program.
Yeah, that definitely is a good thing.
But I would say if I had to just summarize the game, I think Adrian Killings is just electrifying and just excites the whole crowd. We haven't seen anything like that in for UCF, I think, ever. It's a whole different kind of thing. And I was listening to Scott Frost after the game, and he was pretty much saying we need 4 or 5 Adrian Killings.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would imagine that.
Absolutely,
but,
yeah.
I would have to say that was definitely the highlight of the game for me, to watch those 2 runs. I think he was actually a little aggravated about the first run where the guy had somewhat of an angle on him, and he knocked him out of bounds. And I think it got to Adrian Killings a little bit. And the next play, he wasn't going to let that happen. He just put his head down and ran it. He wasn't going to look at the defenders at that point, and he brought that one to the house.
All righty. Hey, thank you for your call. I'm going to take the next one, all right? But thank you very, very much for calling in.
All right. Thanks for the show, and great job you guys are doing, and have a good evening.
Right on. Thank you very much. I think for some reason we hung up on Trace, but we got another guy here. What's going on?
Hey, this is Skylar. I'm up in Shreveport, Louisiana.
All right.
Watched a game on, figured out how to get BN Sports up here because they don't have it, but did that PlayStation View thing and did the free trial just to get the game going. But
that'll work.
Ended up working out.
That's good. That's good. So what did you think of the game?
Compared to last week, the thing that I liked the most about the game was development in the way Scott Frost was calling the game. Because last week I think that there was a lot put on Mackenzie Milton in that Maryland game, a little bit more than he was probably ready for, and in some cases it caused a bunch of turnovers. And this week they relied really heavily on the running game, didn't put him in a lot of bad positions, and then when they had moments of opportunity, then they put it in his hands and he was able to make plays. So I thought that was really good, a development way for Frost in the offense this week. But then we also have the playmakers on the team that they can do that with Killings and Hamilton, who's hurt. We don't know how hurt he is now, but I mean, the running back position is pretty deep on the team. And then overall, I thought it was a good game. The penalties, the false starts, I mean, there were still some of those there. The illegal formation thing, that's kind of bitten the team all season. But, I mean, overall, I thought it was a pretty clean game by the team tonight.
Yeah,
top to bottom.
I'm happy. I mean, this is exactly what we needed to do. We needed to go in and beat a team and beat them good. whatever. I guess that's a little unsportsmanlike, but we had to do it. This is what we needed to do. We needed to show what we could do with all the pieces, and there were a lot of pieces tonight. I still haven't got a chance really to see all the people that ran the ball and everything else. But it looks like there were at least 1, 2, 3, 4, probably like 8 people that ran the ball at least. So, we've definitely come a long ways. I mean, our offensive line obviously is doing their job if we can put up this many rushing yards, game after game after game. And we've put up these rushing yards against good opponents, too. FIU maybe not that great of an opponent, but we handedly got the job done, 53-14.
Oh, definitely. And then you look how many rushing yards we hung against Michigan. I mean, Michigan is like they have one of the toughest run defenses in the country. The running game this season, it makes me very optimistic about the game with South Florida in November, because if you watch that Florida State game with them today, they got eviscerated by one running back. So I can only imagine, like, when they've got 3-4 different threats in the backfield, then you've got Milton who can make plays when he gets, or he can make plays on his feet and he can throw the ball deep. That could be a pretty interesting game.
Yeah, it definitely changed a little bit once Milton hurt his ankle a little bit, and you could tell that he wasn't going to be able to really do it out there. And then they finally brought in that other guy, Nick Patty. Yeah, excuse me. My head is spinning from all this. My computer was updating, and then now this phone system is like kind of freaking me out here. I got a lot of calls coming in, and I'm trying to figure out how to do this, and it's a little crazy. It's a good thing. I'm glad that so many people are calling. It's awesome. I think I may need to get a call screener. I don't know. But just to figure out who's on what line, and I think I hung up on Trace, and I'm having a blast here. This is crazy. So, yeah.
This is a good game all the way around, and hopefully they build momentum on going into East Carolina next week. I think that game's going to be that one's going to be a fun one to watch.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you very much for calling in. You said you were in Louisiana, correct?
Yep, Shreveport,
Louisiana. Awesome. Another place that we can mark off our list. I appreciate your call.
No problem. Y'all have a good night.
All right, you too.
Bye.
All right, well, let's see if we can take the next one here. I have not figured out this phone system, so let's see if we can take this one. Hey, you're on Knightline Postgame Live. What's going on?
Hey, Andrew, it's Jeff Sharon.
What's going on, Jeff, what's going on, man? I need to get your
boy, you're not kidding about the lines lighting up, man. I've been trying to call for 20 minutes, and I finally got through.
It is crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I love it. It's a beautiful thing, but I've got 2 lines now, and I need like 15, I think. But man, that gets expensive. But anyway. My cell phone's,
what a problem to have, right?
Yeah, my cell phone's ringing off the hook over here, too. Thank you guys so much for calling in and everything. Jeff, what did you think?
God, that was fun. I felt like I needed a cigarette after that, man. I mean, that was, and I've never smoked anything. But I was listening to you as I was dialing in, and you're right. That was the can of whoop-ass that UCF needed to open up on somebody this season that we've been waiting for. And, I was paying attention to the coaches' Twitter feeds this week, and Thursday and Friday, they were all talking about how, hey, we're going down to South Florida, down to 305. Got a lot of recruits down there that we're going to see before the game tomorrow. A lot going on in recruiting. And my thought was, and I put this up on Twitter before the game, I said this game is actually more important than the Maryland game because
absolutely
you're playing a team down in Miami in the 305. You're going to have a lot of recruits in the building, and it's your chance to really showcase the potential of Scott Frost's system. And boy, did we ever do that tonight. 53 points, over 500 yards of total offense. 10 guys getting at least a rushing attempt, 9 guys receiving passes. We saw 3 different quarterbacks. I tell you, it's been a long time since we've seen UCF put on a performance of this level. And I know it's against Florida International, but still, we did exactly what we needed to do in this situation, and things are looking really sharp. I'm a little concerned about the injuries, in particular to Juwan Hamilton, obviously, and a little worried about Milton. We'll see what the report is about that, but it's next man up, and we got a lot of backs that we can turn to.
We have tons of running
Juwan's
backs.
Going to be out for a while.
I mean, we have tons of running backs. I mean, yes, yeah. Juwan Hamilton, and I tweeted out right before that happened, man, he's just pounding the ball. I love it. And then that happened. So maybe I shouldn't tweet players' names anymore or something. I don't know. But
you're officially not allowed to tweet Adrian Killens' name anymore if that's the case, because he had a 60-yard catch, he had a 61-yard run. I've never seen speed like that from a UCF player.
Well, I don't know if you've looked at the stats yet, but he led in rushing and receiving tonight.
And receiving, yeah, he had. I'm actually doing the math in my head right now. 86 rushing and 69 passing. So that's 155 total yards on a total of 8 touches, 6 carries and 2 catches. I mean, that's weaponry that we've never had here, and it's been. And it was also nice to see some other guys get into the mix. C.J. Jones late in the game, got into the mix. He scored a touchdown. I thought that we saw Nick Patty go in there and run a couple of really nice drives. He was 4 for 5 after the hit on Milton. It was pretty interesting watching Pete DeNovo run the offense for a possession or two late in the game, but. This was an impressive performance, and now the question is, can we make it carry over to East Carolina? That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Now that we're going to be heading into conference play, I think the players and the coaches have enough confidence now that they're through what they call the preseason. Even though these games count, they consider this the preseason. Now you get to the games that really count in conference play, and what's going to happen now. So. Big test coming up with ECU.
Absolutely, yeah, and we got to get these guys back that are injured if we can, and all that. It's got to happen. It's definitely. I'm worried more about Milton. I mean, he seemed to be doing all right over there. Definitely wasn't having as much trouble as Hamilton was, but I mean, we've got a ton of running backs. We've got a ton of running backs. I'm not worried there.
The Milton thing, I haven't heard anything yet on it, but the Milton thing seemed to be, or at least what they were saying in the on the radio broadcast with Mark and Gary, was that it seemed to be precautionary. But obviously we'll get more information when Scott Frost's post game comes out, which will probably be out here in a few minutes anyway. So.
All right, great. All right, we got another call. Hey Jeff, thank you so much for calling in, man. I greatly appreciate it.
Andrew, thanks for having me, man. Go Knights. I'll talk to you later.
All right, charge on. Jessica Sheldon's on. How are you, Jessica?
Yay! I finally made it through. I'm like sitting here like. I gotta put my word in tonight. This UCF. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, this UCF night is freaking off the chain, excited about the game tonight. I could not help myself. We went to dinner, and my friends don't mind. They know I love UCF, so I listened to the game. And every time we made a touchdown, I was like, go Knights. I was just so excited how we played tonight. I was just like, wow.
It was absolutely awesome. It absolutely was awesome.
We were only a 10-point favorite going in, but some all week told me we're going to beat the heck out of these boys down there. And I called them all week long. Instead of calling the Panthers, I called them the FIU Kitty Cat.
That definitely is what
they were, the Kitty Cats tonight.
Absolutely. Definitely the Kitty Cats. Definitely not the Panthers. Definitely not what any of the odds makers expected. because I think we beat the spread.
And you know what? Another thing is, I have a feeling about this. This is my personal opinion. I'm not saying we're going to go in there and win like every single game, but I have a feeling after tonight, UCF has got a couple of wins coming after tonight.
Absolutely. I think so. I think that we made progress for sure.
I think we could go to ECU with confidence. We have played Michigan. We played Maryland. I think we can go to FIU next week and beat them. I don't know if that's too overconfident, but I think we can do it.
Absolutely. I have no doubt. I think that we can, this is definitely something to build on. I think this is what we needed. I've said it over and over again that we needed to go and do something like this. We needed to put confidence into everybody. Hey, we've got 2 more wins than we did last year. So that's a good thing.
And then, sorry to interrupt you. I'm so bad.
It's all right.
We have Tulane the Friday after. We play Tulane at home, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Tulane, we will definitely beat Tulane, and then we do play Temple for our homecoming game. I mean, I see a couple of good. I mean, if we can crank a couple of wins out of here, I see momentum going in. And I'm not saying we're going to beat Houston, but talking like the person did earlier about the University of Southwest Florida, I think we can definitely go in there and beat the Cows.
Well, they got it handed to them today for sure. So,
good.
So yeah,
every day the Cows lose and UCF wins is a great day.
Absolutely. All righty. Hey, thank you, Jessica, for your call. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You have a great night.
All righty, you too. All right, one of the things here that I want to do is I want to try to get Trace back on so he can talk with us. I don't know what happened to him. I think I hung up on him or we lost him earlier. But, whatever. The phone lines are open again if somebody wants to call. 401. It's 407-401-9184. There we go. We got one. Hello? Oh, I think I hung up on him. No, I didn't. Hold on. Trying to figure this phone system out. All right. Who do we got?
It's Ian from Ohio.
Hey, Ian from Ohio. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just love the show y'all are putting on, and excited for the season we got going. Just last year was tough, but excited for the new era.
Absolutely. What did you think about what you saw tonight?
I liked it. A little concerned with the injuries we got, especially going into East Carolina next week. But I think we're just kind of being cautious, taking Milton out. It didn't look too bad, but I like the big breaks our running backs took, and I think the future looks bright.
Absolutely. What's the one major thing that you took away from like the defense? Everybody's mentioned an offense, but what about defense tonight?
Man, I love the linebackers. They're just playing an aggressive ball. It really seems like they have a fire going after them when they're chasing the ball and really putting a stop to the run game. So I think it puts a lot of pressure on the other team to get creative to try to move the ball and gives our offense a rest.
Absolutely. I think Shaquem Griffin, number 1, actually number 18, but number 1, he's doing a wonderful job with what he has to work with. And thank God that the commentators are starting to pick up on that a little bit, but he doesn't, want to be known for his disability. He wants to be known for what he does on the football field, and he's doing it, and I think it is absolutely awesome. I am a huge fan of his.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the commentators tonight, they mentioned both of them, him and his brother tonight a couple times.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty amazing what both of them are doing. What a difference a year can make.
Absolutely. What a difference a new head coach makes. I mean, really, that's the thing that's going on. I mean, it's a new head coach. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I interrupt all the time. And plus, people have to understand we're talking across the phone here. I'm talking into a microphone, and I'm talking into another microphone to talk to him on the phone. So it gets a little weird sometimes. So there is a tad bit of a,
my wife tells me I interrupt her all the time, so it's all good. It's probably more me than you.
I have people complain that I interrupt people all the time, so I'm not meaning to. I just
no,
go
don't
ahead.
Worry about it.
Go ahead.
To echo what another caller said, I thought it was really important to get down to South Florida and show some potential Miami recruits. What's going up in Central Florida and what the future holds for us. I think that's really going to help Coach Frost with his recruiting efforts going forward.
Absolutely. It's huge to go down there and play like that. Absolutely. No question about it. No question. Alrighty, hey, thank you very much for your call. I really appreciate it. And you're up in Ohio, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, my wife's in the Air Force, so we're up here in the Dayton area at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So
awesome.
We're moving around quite a bit.
I love that place, actually. I've been there quite a bit, actually. I've been to Wright-Patterson, yeah. I love the Air Force Museum there. Is incredible. You've been to it?
They just opened up a new wing with quite a bit of a real nice display.
I know, yeah. I haven't been there yet for that new wing that's open, man, but I love that place. It is absolutely incredible. I could spend, if I had to be stuck in a museum for the rest of my life, that would be the one.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right.
Hey, man, I love the show. I listen to you all the time, especially when I'm exercising or something. I really appreciate what y'all are doing. It's great to bring Central Florida wherever I'm at. So keep up the good work and go Knights.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Charge on. Have a good night.
Yeah, man. Take care. Bye.
All right. Well, that's good. I mean, we're reaching people all over the place, and the phone line is open if somebody wants to try to call, because I know there's been some people that have been trying, and they haven't been able to get in. I still don't. I guess Trace went drinking. I don't know. Maybe, I don't like that. Hey, you're on. What's going on?
Hey.
Oh, it's you.
Tell me hold on, I'm trying to turn the mute off. Okay, here you go.
Is this Chris?
I didn't think I'd get through. You're so busy. You're such a celebrity right now.
I know. It's crazy. It's great, though. I thank everybody for calling in tonight. It's awesome.
I pasted the link up on Twitter too, a couple places. So
awesome.
Hopefully that'll you'll get a backlog. Maybe, who knows?
Oh man, yeah.
Like I said, we'll have to get you a screener.
Absolutely. I need this intern we keep talking about. I just need somebody to step up and do it. So
there you go.
Yeah,
I'd do it from here if I could, but
yeah, no, I don't.
Great game tonight, though.
Absolutely. What were your thoughts?
Defense, not a great job. I like that. I always want to see, a perfect game from our defense is keeping the opponent under 200 yards. I love seeing that. The only thing about the defense, I want to see more turnovers. There was a couple of times we could have picked off the ball, I thought, and we got one. But I think down the road, those are going to be difference makers in the games. But, they're doing a great job.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Offense. Like I said, another benchmark. You get over 500 yards of offense, you can't really bitch about anything. We were almost there at the end of the third quarter, so when they started taking everybody out. But, guys look great. My only concern with Melton is obviously not only his durability, but also he seems to sling the ball a little bit from the shoulder. So they were commenting about all his passes being high. So hopefully we can work on that. So he's I know because he's short, maybe that's why they're coming out high. But really, you can't bitch about anything. It was a great game. We did what I knew we would roll over FIU, but you always worry about playing down to the competition, which we have done so many times in the near past. And it was nice just to see us do what exactly we were supposed to do against this team.
Absolutely.
Even more so than what people thought we were going to do.
Well, I don't think anybody – I mean, obviously the odds makers didn't think that we were going to do it like that. So, there's a lot of people that didn't think that it was going to happen like that. I don't know. Did you watch the broadcast on BN? Is that where you watched it?
Yeah, it was really well. The picture was real clear, but I tell you what, they got some of the dumbest broadcasters I've ever heard in my life.
Well, one of the things is Donovan McNabb is on there, and during
Donovan McNabb, they got Kajana Carter. It's like the star-studded of nobody's working this broadcast.
I kept thinking that other guy looked really familiar. That's who he was. He was Kajana Carter. That's right. Yeah. That's funny. Well, Donovan, was like, they need to run on him. FIU needs to come in and run on UCF, and obviously that wasn't going to happen. So, whatever.
Donovan needs to watch a little more tape, I think.
Absolutely. All right, Chris, man, thank you very much for calling in. I gotta try to get Trace back on here if I can.
I'm gonna post some stats on UCF's run defense and running game. I'm gonna put them up there so everybody can see them.
All right, keep listening, man. I really appreciate you calling.
All right, man. Night. Good night.
All right, charge on. Have a good one. All right, I'm going to try real quick here while I have an open line to get Trace back. I apologize for the dial tone here. I am going to try to get Trace back. See what he's doing.
Please enjoy this Verizon ringback.
Trace has the music on his ringtone, so that's what we're hearing right now. This is great. Trace.
Yes, sir.
All right, we have you back. Gosh, I couldn't get a line out to call you back.
Not a problem.
We thought that you were just...
already had a beer, so things are good.
All right, good, man. I wish I had something. I didn't even bring a drink with me in here, and it's like 85 degrees in here, and I'm... Oh, man, we have to get this intern. We have to.
Research assistant.
Yeah, I can't run this phone system and do all this stuff at the same time. So it's great, though. Tons of people calling in. So if anybody wants to talk
I look forward to joining you in studio next week as UCF is on the road at East Carolina, noon start. And I will be in town and be able to join you for the postgame show at the 1148 studios.
Yeah, it'll be a lot better with two of us here, so I can look at you and be like, talk, Trace, talk.
Stretch, talk.
Keep going. We have these hand signals and all this stuff, and we write things on paper and hold it up, and both of our writing is horrible, and it gets all weird sometimes.
The real challenge for me is that I'm not a good lip reader, and you're trying to mouth things to me, and I just don't know what you're saying.
I know, yeah. So, all right. Well, we will let you get drinking, and I will continue this if that's all right.
That's not a problem. I will join you for the podcast coming up Sunday night recording, and then be there for postgame live following the East Carolina game.
All right. Well, I didn't want to leave you hanging and just think that we forgot about you or whatever. But you have a beer for me while you're doing it. All right.
I will do that, and
something
look forward
dark.
to hearing the replay back of all the callers and their thoughts. I really enjoyed listening to that on a flight back from Michigan, hearing what folks had to say about the game. So I look forward to hearing what folks are thinking after they saw the Knights improve to 2-2.
Right on. All right, Trace, take it easy, and we will talk to you later.
All right. Go Knights.
Charge on. All right. There's definitely some people that have been trying to call, and I definitely want to talk to all of you. So the phone line is open, 407-401-9184, 407-401-9184. Trust me, folks, we will get this thing going with the phone lines where we can get more people in and stuff, because I know a bunch of people have been trying to call. I've seen some names up here that I really wanted to talk to. There's one right here. Hey, you're on Knightline Live. What's going on? Postgame Live.
Hey, it's Carson. How you doing, man?
Hey, yeah, you're one of the people whose name that I saw on there. And thank you very much for calling back. What's going on with you? What do you think of what happened tonight?
Well, just got off the turnpike back here in Broward County, but certainly impressed tonight and happy that after the struggles that I've seen, at least at times against FIU, that this one was not a struggle, that it was basically a no-doubter from the start. That was very refreshing, I think, based on being a guy from South Florida. I certainly didn't like coming down here in 2011 and seeing the way that game played out. And last year was really, really tough to lose to them 15-14 in Bright House. So tonight was really, really exciting to see the total performance that UCF put together.
Absolutely, a total performance. What do you think about Adrian Killens being the number one rusher and the number one receiver?
It is unbelievable. I mean, that guy, the speed alone, and you just kind of start to see what Scott Frost talks about, because it's not about having just one of those guys in this offense. It's about eventually down the line having like 3 or 4 of them. And so you get 3 or 4 of those guys in this offense, whether they're going to play receiver or they're going to be kind of in that slot back role like Killens is, you start to see the potential of what this thing can be. And, man, a true freshman, the way he's performed, really him and Jawan Hamilton, and in the unfortunate injury situation there that we're going to have to wait on with Hamilton. But those guys have just been so impressive to see what they've been able to do from basically, day one since they stepped on campus.
Absolutely. Another thing, I was looking through my stats while you were talking here, and guess what? Adrian Killens also led another area of the stats, kick returns. So he was back there returning kicks and really did an excellent job. He averaged 24 and a half yards for each.
And that's interesting, Andrew, because at the beginning of the season, they kind of said, well, he's a true freshman. We don't want to put too much on him. We don't want to put a true freshman back there. We want maybe a more of a sure-handed guy. And then I think as the weeks went on, Frost got a little more comfortable with giving him that role. And again, another exciting thing to see that they have the confidence in him. Obviously, I don't think there's any doubt he's the fastest guy on the team. So now that they have the confidence in him to handle that role, that's only going to be another way that UCF can kind of weaponize him overall.
Well, I thought in the beginning that he maybe should be back there, doing kickoff returns, and I think that is very glaringly obvious that he should be doing that, and I think that was a good thing. Scott Frost kind of hinted that he would be back there, or the possibility of him being back there in one of the press conferences this week. And I'm glad that they did that for sure. Hayden Jones also had a pretty good one that went for 22 yards as well, and we don't see him very often. He's a good kid. I know his parents, and, glad to see all these guys that haven't gotten in there, really get in there. And we finally have a victory of that magnitude where we can put all these other people in there. I mean, we are loaded at running back. Unfortunately...
Yeah, I don't know, though, with the Hamilton situation, that's the thing. I did definitely notice that, in the postgame, he was kind of like on the, or even in the second half, I noticed that he was kind of on the sidelines in crutches.
Yeah.
So, that could just be a precautionary thing. We don't know, and we're not going to probably know for a while. And I don't know how candid Scott Frost will be with that situation throughout the week. He kind of has a way of sometimes being really candid with injuries, and then other times he doesn't really want to say anything about them. So we'll see about that. But, yeah, they are deep at that position, and, they were able to rotate in C.J. Jones even, Dontravius Wilson with all the touchdowns he scored. So even if Hamilton's out, I still feel good about where they're at that position.
Absolutely. Dontravius with 3 rushing touchdowns tonight and just bulling through everything. He's a big guy, and he's really the one big guy that we have. I mean, of that, size and stature. C.J. Jones is a big guy too. Not as tall as Dontravius, but Dontravius can definitely just blow people over. And it's good to see him get that chance to do it because he's been around here for a couple of years. So,
the question I have for you, just watch, because obviously I was there and didn't get to see the TV broadcast, is how well did it come off, just how many UCF fans were there, and was that apparent, the ratio between FIU fans and UCF? Because I've been to all 3 games down in Miami that UCF's played. In 2011, it was a really packed house there at FIU Stadium. I think it's still one of their highest attended games, and I thought it was a pretty 50-50 crowd in 2011. In 2013, of course, it was kind of a Friday night game, and I don't think as many UCF fans were able to get to it, so our crowd wasn't as good. But this year, there was almost no support in terms of FIU fans, and I thought UCF may have outnumbered the FIU crowd as great as a number as perhaps 5-1. So I was wondering kind of how that came off on TV.
Well, they kept showing anytime they would go wide from the end zone and show the stadium, it showed that there was really nobody there, number one. It was very loud, the UCF Knights on the kickoffs, every kickoff.
Right.
And you kept hearing UCF, and all that. I didn't hear any FIU chants whatsoever come over the TV.
No, we didn't in the stadium either.
Yeah, and, they didn't show the crowd too much it really, honestly, was not a good broadcast in the first place. It was they needed to white balance their cameras. I mean,
not a fan of day-in sports.
Oh, horrible job. I don't know what Donovan McNabb is doing there. I'm shocked that he's not on the NFL Network or something else. I feel bad for him. He needs to go someplace else for sure. It was horrible. The broadcasters didn't know what they were talking about half the time. They were talking about stuff that happened last week, actually being Michigan. And, they didn't do their research, obviously. It was bad. So,
wow.
Yeah, I was on them on Twitter a bunch. I'm like, hey, 2 words, white balance, It was bad. It was bad.
Sometimes
Hopefully,
when you get those smaller networks, the production sort of starts to lag, as you know. And I don't. But the good thing is, I don't think we're gonna have any future experiences with that network, at least for a while.
Yeah, Conference USA can keep that. Yeah, they can keep that for sure.
Yeah,
I'll deal with ESPN any day compared to that. Hey, Carson, thank you so much for calling, man. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Really enjoyed listening to you guys on the way home, so keep doing your thing, man.
Carson Engel, folks, that you can hear on – go ahead, tell us about where they can hear you.
Yeah, absolutely. Every Saturday we're on 11 to 1. Me and Eric Lopez on the Sports Talk Florida Insider Show on 1080 The Team in Orlando.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, take it easy. All right. Carson Engel, that's a good deal. I like it when people like that call. I like it when anybody calls. This is great tonight. This is awesome. Being this late, number one, everybody is so excited. You heard how excited Jessica Shelton was earlier when she called. I guess I shouldn't be using last names, but their names are up here on the chat board on Rabble.tv. Rabble.tv is absolutely awesome, by the way. I don't know if you've ever listened to anything else on there, but they are very, very good to us. I don't know if you saw before the broadcast started, but it was, if you looked at their main page today, we were right up front. We were very large. We were bigger than anybody else on there, and that is absolutely awesome. Dan there is the man, and he has done us a great service by helping us out with all that stuff. The other thing is tonight, guys, we have a brand new phone system, which I'm struggling with a little bit, from Vonage. Go to our website, and you can click on that, especially if you have a business, and switch over to Vonage. They're a little bit cheaper than the regular phone company, and they do all kinds of great stuff. And those people will take care of you, and also I can make a little bit of money by selling some Vonage stuff for them. So I greatly appreciate their hard work to get this phone system working, because it absolutely was not working when I first got it. And I got on the phone yesterday with them, upset. I'm like, oh my God, it's gotta work by the time of my show. So, all right, let's use this Vonage phone. 407-401-9184. 407-401-9184. And we will talk some more about the game. I know there's somebody out there, because I had 40 people calling me earlier at the same time. So anyway, got all kinds of stuff that we can talk about, though. So these stats, we can keep going over them. Mackenzie Milton, 8 of 14 for 173 yards. Averaged 12.4, had a touchdown that he threw to Jordan Akins, that was awesome to see him out there. We haven't seen him a lot, but I think that we're going to see him a lot more. Here we go, another phone call. It's a wonderful buzz that we get. Hey, you're on Knightline Postgame Live. What's going on?
Hey, it's Night Bengal again.
Oh, hey, that's cool.
You sounded like you were struggling a little bit, and I wanted to talk about the potential for, one, the defense, and two, because nobody's really talked about it much, and two, how this lines up for our USF game. I got to watch a little bit of the FIU and USF game, and they could not stop the run. The fact that we're running the way that we are, honestly, I think that aligns us pretty well for that game. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, I think that they have a lot of weapons, and they're playing very good this year in the games that they have, done very well in. And yes, they got way behind in that game today, but, putting 35 points on FSU isn't horrible. I hate to say anything good about them, but you have to be honest about it. No,
I definitely agree offensively. You're 100% correct. They've got Marlon Mack. He's averaging something silly like 9 yards a carry or something like that. Plus, you got Flowers, but Flowers has not been a very good passer. He's only around 50%. And if we run the ball down their throats, I think it really gives us a much better shot. And I feel a lot better about it after today than I did at the beginning of the season.
Flowers was 5 of 14 today for 160 yards. 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. And then Marlon Mack, I think, was hurt most of the game, really. He only ran for 42 yards. D'Ernest Johnson ran for 82. So...
I just think watching them and over the season, Mack's still averaging like 9 yards a carry. It's really they've been running their offense through Mack, and I just think if we can clamp down on the run game like we have been doing, I think we have a good shot.
Yeah, I think so. I think tonight made a big difference, and seeing I think it all came together tonight. We didn't have the turnovers. We didn't have, all that stuff. I think a lot more came together. I'm concerned about these injuries. Another one that we really haven't talked about very much injury-wise is Cam Stewart went down. He got knocked out. Like literally knocked out.
Yeah.
That was not good. We need him. He's definitely a guy that we need.
They had to get him some smelling salts. So I imagine he'll probably be on he'll probably miss at least the next game. He'll probably be on concussion protocol if he KO'd. So he'll be out for the next couple of games. And what he's been doing a really good job of is blocking downfield. I mean, he's gotten a couple of passes here and there, but he's been called out several times for the blocking. There's a few others too, but we really need those guys in there, not just because they've been going through Traquan a lot for a lot of our passing offense, and they've been going with the screens and the little short passing game as far as that's concerned. He hasn't seen a lot of touches, but his name is constantly being called for blocking on these run games. So
Absolutely.
We really need those guys to be in there to spring those blocks for those guys, because it's one thing that they said they wanted to do, and if you watch every single one of those long runs, I think that one on Killens where he got the 60 yards, if you watch towards the tail end, the last guy, they had two blockers on the last guy to spring him down the left side when he started rocketing down the left side. So they've been very involved with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, excellent blocking by our receivers for sure. And that's another area that we're deep. So, not having one guy there is fine. But, as the season goes on, the injuries, sometimes can go on a little bit more. And that is definitely not a good thing. As far as the defense, you said you wanted to talk about.
Something. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I was just going to lead on to you wanted to talk about the defense a little bit. The defense is doing a great job. I mean, they are. You can't run against us very, very well. I mean, we saw Michigan run against us for quite a few yards, but FIU definitely didn't. 92. Oh, wait, no, that's not right. Rushing, 80 yards rushing that they got tonight. FIU has got some serious problems, though. I mean, you've seen other teams.
But I mean, I agree. But even look at the Maryland game, right? So, for that offense, I mean, they had a few games that, a few big games that were when they were popping the top off the defense, where they've got a few. I think it was like a 70 or 80 yard pass play, etc. But outside of that, they really didn't do much. They did enough, obviously, but they didn't really do much. I mean, we held them to 17 points. Michigan in the second half, we did really well. SC State, we pitched a shutout. So, you know, when I look at this and I really think about it, I mean, the defense, phenomenal. Even the secondary really surprised me. They've been doing really well. There's only been a few times they've been outside of Michigan. Michigan, they were just outclassed. But every other game that I've watched, they've done a really good job. They've played tight. So when they have the inside game, they've got the inside shoulder. They've been batting down passes. They've been without getting the pass interference plays. So, you know, with all of that being said, it's vastly different than it was last year. So the coaching that they're doing and whatever Shenander and those guys are doing on Fish, it's really getting through to them, because I watch the secondary. They're doing their thing. The only time they really get in trouble is when, you know, the defense, they get the pressure, but then the quarterback can get out of the pocket and get away from them, and the receivers are getting free. That's the only time I really see them, you know, with big plays or when they're playing a soft zone. So outside of that, they've really played well, and it's been kind of like it's kind of set to the side because all the freshmen that we have are on primarily on the offensive side of the ball. But, I mean, watching some of those guys, and to your point on the linebackers, Brim, I mean, he's been amazing to watch. That guy, he's a headhunter.
Absolutely.
I mean, he'll just go out there, and some of those hits he's laying the lid on, it's just fun to watch.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Trylko had that interception tonight. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's all coming together. In fact, I was just looking there's finally some notes from Scott Frost's press conference and stuff like that, and the first quote that they say here on UCFKnights.com is that Scott Frost says, "I could feel this coming. Our guys have been preparing and improving. I'm really happy for these guys. The effort and the work they've put in and their attention to detail started to show up a lot here tonight and should give us a lot of confidence going into conference. That's what we need. Confidence going into the conference." Say that 10 times fast.
I 100% agree with that. These guys, if we wouldn't have won this game for whatever reason, there would have been a lot of questioning and you know, there wouldn't have been much hope for the rest of the season at that point, because part of this is, you know, when you build it up and you build it up and you build it up and you talk about how things have changed, if you get the same results, that absolutely kills morale. So this coming on with a full head of steam, these guys have the confidence to go do it, especially, you know, on the offensive side of the ball, but also the defensive side of the ball, because they're really pushing for this attacking style defense and to play with a lot of energy and swarm and do all those things, and we're seeing them do it. And they're not afraid to make mistakes. You know, one of the things that has kind of been talked about is with George O'Leary, everybody was afraid to make a mistake. So by the time they were ready to play without the mistakes, they were juniors and seniors. Well, we've got a lot of guys that, you know, obviously the defense is more experienced, but they're really flying around to the ball. I see some missed tackles, but majority of them have got the effort behind it, that they're covering each other. And that's what's different about this year than I think of last year is these guys, when one would miss the big tackle, everybody stops. They would physically stop or run quarter speed when you watch the tape. But now everybody continues to go, continues to attack, continues to go to the ball. And I think a lot of that has to do with the confidence that's being inspired that they can make those mistakes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. Number one, I think is these guys have, like, they're enjoying playing football again. I know this has been said over and over again, but they're absolutely enjoying playing it, and they're not afraid to make mistakes, like you said. Frost is doing an awesome job. You know, somebody was commenting earlier about how great of a job Frost was doing. He does some crazy stuff every once in a while. I mean, Like he went for 2 on that opening drive. That's interesting that he does that, and you keep people wondering. If you do it a couple times and you're successful doing it, then it's much more of a threat, and that's what people need to understand. Oh my God, he went for 2. Well, you go for 2 and you make them, and then people have to worry about you doing it, and that's the whole.
I agree.
And that's the deal with fourth down too. That people don't.
That's one of the things what they said about his presser, right? So I think it was last game they were talking about that, or the game before that, and it really has to do with the threat of it happening. I think I remember one of the conversations I heard was Chip Kelly when he was at Oregon. He used to run either a fake or a 2-point conversion on either his first or second possession every game. And the purpose for that was you never knew when that was going to happen, so we could have our standard formations and still run something successful out of it. They weren't all crowding the line. And for us, we had those blocked punts, we had those blocked field goals, and what that does is it makes people stay a little further back so not everybody's being as aggressive, trying to block those things. So it gives your kicker and your punter a little more time, hopefully less hands in their face, and it keeps people honest. It's the same reason you run the ball, to draw the linebackers in and open up the top, bring the safeties in so they're having to play up on the ball. It's the same thing. So I think you're 100% right on calling that out, not just on special teams, but also on those fourth down plays.
Absolutely. Yep. Definitely. All righty, Night Bengal, thank you very much for calling again. I love it if you guys call again. If we don't have anybody calling and the phones aren't ringing off the hook, please call again. I'm sure I don't talk about everything that you want to talk about. Sometimes when it just gets a little crazy there where the phone's ringing like crazy, I want to give a chance for everybody to get on. I know there's a lot of people that didn't get on tonight, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure as always.
All right, man. Talk to you later. Charge on. All right, yeah. So everybody that tried to call, I'm not done yet, by the way. We'll go another. I think we're only at about we're at an hour and 6 minutes, so we got another hour to go. If you want to, you guys let me know. If the phone stops ringing, I guess we'll chill this thing out. It's getting a little bit late, but hey, we're all excited, and if you're not totally inebriated, you can call us and talk. I'm trying to look a little bit more and see if there's anything coming out for Juwan Hamilton. There are reports of people talking to family members, and it sounds like they are saying it sounds like an ACL. That's what I suspect with the way that things were looking as far as that goes. Let's hope that's not the case. Obviously, there's going to be more investigated into that as the week goes on, but I hope that that's not it. But we had definitely lots of positives tonight. Looking back, the whole thing did slow down quite a bit when Nick Patty came in. Maybe not the first couple series, but then obviously they tried to slow it down a little bit because I think Scott Frost was trying to kill the clock, to be honest with you, towards the end of the game. Definitely starting to try to kill the clock. Maybe even at the end of the third quarter trying to kill it. And that's, you don't want to go and just ram the ball down. It's, unsportsmanlike to go and just, run the score up and all that stuff. So I can understand that a little bit. I'm still worried about these injuries. The injury that I worry about the most is Mackenzie Milton. That one could really sting because you've seen what he has done when he's come in here. He's lit up this offense like it's never been lit up before. Maybe in the Blake Bortles era, but I think Mackenzie Milton is something even more than that. He may not turn out to be Blake Bortles and the NFL quarterback. I mean, you saw what has happened with guys, that are a little bit smaller, except for a couple guys. There are a couple guys, and we've talked about them, Mackenzie Milton may not be that guy that goes on to run around everybody in the NFL, but he's got hopefully 3 more years here, and I hope that he can do a lot more of that here. Nick Patty did come in and do a good job, though. He was 4 of 5 for 52 yards on passing, and also had a rushing touchdown. But we need to talk about Dontravius Wilson and his 11 carries for 58 yards, 3 touchdowns. The last person to run for 3 touchdowns was a guy that isn't totally in the NFL. He's in and out of the NFL, but Storm Johnson was the last guy to do that, according to UCF. So that's impressive as far as I'm concerned. It says here the last night to rush for 3 touchdowns was Storm Johnson versus Baylor in the Fiesta Bowl. And the school record for rushing touchdowns in a game is 4. So that's been accomplished 3 times by 2 backs. They didn't mention who that was. But Dontravius Wilson was very close to doing that, which that's saying something. Yes, it's against a team that is probably at the bottom of the rung of Conference USA. And we have to keep that into perspective a little bit. I'm not knocking anything that was going on tonight. I'm just saying keep it in a little bit of perspective that this team is not a good team that we played tonight. And I think we're going to have to really some of these games could get tight, kind of like the game against Maryland. I think Maryland was more of a what do you call it? More of a measure of who the teams that we're going to be playing. Maybe they are a Big Ten team. I know a lot of the American teams aren't Big Ten teams, but they were close. I'm kind of reading some of these things that people are saying on the Rabble board. Night Sweat says that he thought that Mackenzie Milton was off tonight. Maybe it was the field. Yes, and that's here we got a call. I'll take this. Hey, you're on Post Game Live. What's going on?
Hey, buddy, it's Chris Carter again.
Okay, what's up?
Nothing. I just wanted to, like you said, we were commenting on the how UCF's looking. I think I put some notes up there. I think we're a lot better than most people would have thought we were. I think that game against Michigan was more a testament of how good Michigan was, is, than what our performance was. Michigan played Penn State today and absolutely drilled them. I think Penn State only had 70 yards rushing against Michigan, and we had 275. And they gave up 326 yards rushing, and we only gave up 119 to Michigan. So, either Penn State's a really, really bad team, or we're actually a lot better than most people would give us credit for. So,
yeah, I think we are better than most people give us credit for, but Penn State isn't the Penn State of old either, because they had a lot of, trouble there and lost, years of scholarships and all kinds of stuff. So that's still hurting them. They are definitely not the Penn State of old when you talk about Penn State. I mean, it would be interesting.
About Saquon Barkley being one of the best running backs in the Big Ten, and they just absolutely shut him down, but they couldn't do anything against UCF's running game.
Right.
So that would lead me to believe that our running game, like you said, you made the comment, FIU is not a good team. They're not somebody who we should base our prospects against, but the fact we've been able to run against every team we've played will bode well for us in our conference, especially like in a game coming up against ECU. I watched the ECU game. ECU is the same old ECU. They pass for a lot of yards, but they don't have any ball control, and they can't really play defense. So,
yeah, they got
that's 2 things that we do. We have ball control, and we can play good defense. And same against FSU or USF. I watched that game, and they gave up, I think, 500-something yards when they beat Syracuse last week. They gave up 642 yards to FSU this week.
Absolutely,
an FSU team that only had 273 yards against Louisville.
On the ground, they gave up tons and tons of yards. They absolutely did. But that's also one of the absolute best, running teams, that there are as far as having the running backs that they have back there as well. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
I think we'll be okay in conference play. I think we're going to beat a lot of teams that are favored over us. I think the experts' opinion of us now is completely BS. I don't think they really know what we have, and we're not favored to beat, I think, 6 out of 8 of our conference games. But I think we're going to either pull a lot of upsets, supposed upsets, or people are going to find out real quickly how good the team is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Provided we stay healthy.
Yeah, that's the big question at this point. How healthy are we after this? That's my biggest takeaway from this, to be honest with you.
My big concern is who's our backup going to be? Is it going to be Nick Patty, or are they going to get Holman healthy? And, is he the backup? Is Patty the backup? Because I don't want to ever see Pete DeNovo at QB again, ever.
well, you saw him tonight, so,
No offense to Pete, but, ever since the Ireland game against Penn State, like I said, if he's a third choice and backup when we have the type of offense where QB is going to take some hits, then we really need to work on our depth or find out. I would have rather see Holman, if he was healthy, get in the game and get some snaps as a backup. But
I never saw him I wasn't there, but I never saw him on TV on the sidelines. I don't know if he was even there. He may not have even traveled, to be honest with you. But
I didn't see mention of him even. So
I thought that he would probably be the next one that we saw before Nick Patty came in there. Nick Patty came in earlier and ran one play before McKenzie went out, earlier in the game. And I thought maybe that was, we were going back to the Wild Knight thing and maybe just going to try something with him. You don't know, but I'm not sure of the situation on
Holman. Do you know what's going on with Kruzek, or is it Harris?
I don't know about either one of those guys. I'm not sure. I know that Kruzek is the scout team quarterback. That's all I really know about him. He's playing on the scout team. I don't know if he has traveled at least once, I believe, but I don't know if he was there tonight. I was expecting, in fact, when they put DeNovo in there, I thought for a second, I didn't really look at the number or whatever, but I thought that maybe that was Kruzek. But
I thought it was too until I realized he's 17, not 14.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see DeNovo. I don't think anybody was ever expecting to see DeNovo at quarterback ever again. Oh yeah, Night Bingle says Patty ran in the 2-point conversion. Of course, that's where he was in there earlier. But
right.
But yeah,
I don't think even DeNovo expects to see DeNovo in a quarterback ever again.
Well, unless we're up 43 or 53-14, I don't think that you're going to see him in there. So I don't think we have to worry about that. As far as who's the other guy, number 8 that we have, Harris. I don't think that Harris fits this at all. I don't think he fits this system at all. I'm shocked that he hasn't transferred. I guess maybe he just wants to play it out and see what happens. Maybe it was too late for him this year. Maybe nobody knew what Mackenzie Milton was going to come here and do. So
no, that's true.
You can't, really knock that. Kruzek, may be a good option. Hopefully Milton can get healed up by this week, though, because I think that he just brings a dynamic that we haven't had here. And just imagine what he's going to be like next year, even more. He could. I think that he will be a guy that will stay here for 4 years, number one. I don't think he's going to the NFL early.
Johnny Manziel.
He does, but he does as a playmaker and running around and being able to do things that other people can't. And I'm not saying that Johnny Manziel wouldn't have made a great NFL player, but
I'm talking about the college Johnny Manziel, not the pro Johnny Manziel.
Right. He definitely, yes. There have been lots of comparisons. I don't know if that's totally a good thing because, Manziel was like a different body type kind of than Milton is, and he was just kind of a freak of nature. So I don't know about that, but I just
anyway, the prospects are good. I'd like to see more depth at QB behind him because it's not a big guy, and the QB is going to take some shots, so we can't completely fall apart when our starting quarterback goes out and we got to go to Pete DeNovo.
Right.
Patty played well today, but that's uncommon for Patty in recent history. He hasn't always played well when he's been asked to step in. So
I think that's what I expect of Nick Patty, though, to come in like he did tonight and do well. I mean, because he knows this offense. He's run this offense for a long time. So
it's the Boise days. That's why he went to Boise.
Well, and at Dr. Phillips, he played a fast offense and an option offense there too. So this is totally a different thing. And I keep saying that we're going to learn more next week. That's the thing that I've probably said. We'll know a lot more next week, and I've said that to my friends. I've said that on here. I've said that on the podcast. I think here, definitely this next week, we will even know more because we'll be playing our first conference game against a team that
ECU is one of our toughest places to go play.
Absolutely, a team that can play. I hate to, I'm not taking anything away from what we did tonight, but again, I'm going to say that FIU is a horrible football team. So
no disagreement there.
Yeah, I mean,
we did what we were supposed to do against them, maybe more than most people thought we would do, but absolutely what we knew we could do against a team like FIU.
Yeah.
Now, when we come against ECU, that's going to be a different story. They're going to be a team that we don't really know what we're coming up against because, like I said, we haven't played similar teams. They play good teams that got blown out. They've blown out teams. So,
absolutely.
I think, like I said, I'd rather go into the ECU game blowing out a team 53-14 than coming into the game like they did and get blown out by Virginia Tech. So
I know that people are probably going to say I'm being a downer and trying to, he's downplaying everything. No, I just want to be cautious because, that's why I'm saying.
We won this one, it's a great game, and now we got to get serious about, conference play.
Somebody said on here earlier, and I don't know who it was, but somebody said that when we play close games is when we're really going to have to that's going to be the thing that it was Night Bingle. The next test is winning a close game because we haven't done that yet. We tried to do that against
the turnovers. That's why the turnovers are really something I hope we focus on because those are what make the difference in close games.
Absolutely. Well, I think that
ball security.
Yeah, we definitely fixed that problem tonight. We did not have that problem at all with Mackenzie Milton. You could tell that he was holding onto the ball a lot better. You could also tell that he wasn't just going out there and running crazy. When you called, I think I was reading a quote from somebody, and I just think that they had curtailed him a little bit. They'd kind of put the stop on him going out there and just, playing sandlot ball. They tried to get him to do a little bit more of looking downfield and stuff like that.
Anymore.
Absolutely not. And he can play that game, but then he's going to fumble 5 times or whatever,
And that's the other thing, too. He might be able to pull that off against FIU, but there's going to be a big step up in competition next week. So,
right.
Not to get too caught up in he didn't have any turnovers against FIU. Like, once again, as you said, FIU is not a good team at all. So maybe we should not get our expectations up until we see him play against another team non-Maryland's level.
Right. I'm looking forward to conference play, and that's who we have to beat anyway. Those are the games that really, really matter. It's about a conference championship. We know we're not going to be anywhere near the top 4, the playoff thing. We know we're not going to be anywhere close to that. People are talking about all this stuff, bowl game. That's great, and I hope that that's the case, but let's not, let's just be cautious. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to be.
Before the season started, I said that how we play in the FIU game is going to let me know how our season's going to go. If we lost or barely won, I know we'll be lucky to make 2 wins in the whole year. But from the way we played and the way we played in games previous, Maryland, Michigan, we kind of gave away the Maryland game. Michigan game, we were at a 31-point disadvantage because of our special teams and field position alone. So that game really wasn't as bad as most people saw. We actually outgained Michigan in yards.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think, honestly, a bowl game, 6-6, that would obviously be a success for anybody, I think. I think we have chances if we win the close games, so we can be like 8-4. But like I said, you got to take it one game at a time. And we have a very real chance to go into East Carolina, steal a win from a place that's very hard for us to play in historically. But we got to do everything like we did today. We got to do everything right and not make mistakes.
All righty. Sounds good, man. Thank you very much for calling again. I appreciate your knowledge and everything. I love it when you call.
Show.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
All right.
I appreciate it. All right, charge on. All right, take it easy. We'll talk to you later. Hey, Night Sweat, I would really like for you to call because you're active on the board here. I'm calling you out. I would love for you to call and talk to me. You've called and talked before. So what's going on in the rest of the games tonight? Does anybody know? It's like the Stanford game. I keep getting things on my phone. I keep getting alerts that something's going on over there. Are they losing or something? Oh, I don't know. They won. All right. I guess it's over. But anyway, so I guess I need to tell you guys about, I put up a link the other day for T-shirts. That didn't work out so well. We have some issues with that. So I think what I'm going to do is I know that at least a couple people bought them because I get notified when people buy them. You may have some rare T-shirts there because those the kibosh kind of got put on those T-shirts by Zazzle, which, number one, Zazzle is completely overpriced for what they do. So I'm not going to be doing anything with them ever again. I will say that. The other thing that I'm going to say about that is I think I'm going to buy the equipment and just do them myself if people want T-shirts, and I can sell them for like $10 or something. Whatever, as long as I make a couple bucks on them, I will sell T-shirts, and I'll have to get all that going, so it might take a little while. But I appreciate anybody wanting to wear a T-shirt that I make. Yes, I'll ship it to Canada, Chris. Absolutely. But yeah, look forward to that later. So I just wanted to get that off. I've been meaning to talk about that the entire time. What else can we talk about? I want Night Sweat to call me. He's all over the... Oh, okay. He said he can't. He's, all right. All right. I'll lay off. Next week, definitely call me, though. All right, here we go. We got somebody from Georgia calling. You're on Knightline Live.
What up, fellows?
What's going on? Who's this?
Hey, this is Nightman Lamb, old school.
Oh, okay. We haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You were asking for Night Sweat to call, and I would have hung up.
No, it's all good. I was just giving him trouble because he's talking all over the board, and I love that he's talking on the board, but I wanted him to call. But he gave his explanation, and that's good. So,
well, everybody's got their own thing going on. So I had a question for you guys, actually. We had a little watch party here, and it was one of those watch parties where once the game gets so in hand, you kind of lose track of what's going on the field.
Yeah.
And fourth quarter seemed to take forever. But we totally missed the Juwan Hamilton injury. What do you guys know? Like, what happened there? I'm trying to piece together.
It wasn't
pictures and some stuff.
Yeah, I believe that it was maybe. I don't think it was before halftime. I think it was maybe right after halftime. It was nothing crazy happened. I mean, he just kind of, ran up the middle or something, maybe. And just kind of fell down. I mean, he got hit. I mean, it looked all normal. They didn't show any replay of him, doing something crazy. But here's the deal.
Right.
What a lot of people are saying, there's been a lot of comments about how bad that field was down there.
Yeah.
And that is concerning because Mackenzie Milton is hurt, and Jawan Hamilton is hurt as far as ankles or knees or whatever. And that's not good.
Yeah.
I don't care.
The picture showed him on crutches, so that's concerning. Mackenzie was moving around on the sidelines, so I'm hoping that's just a little tweak of an ankle or something there. But to your point, like we missed the whole. I mean, there wasn't stoppage or replay or anything bad, but the pictures show him on crutches. He's crying.
Yeah.
So, when I see something like that, I'm thinking MCL, ACL type of a strain. So,
and that's what supposedly a family member told somebody. That's like third or fourth
the MRI, but
third or fourth party terrible. Down the line of a rumor. But that's what, and that's what, when I saw those pictures as well, that's immediately what came to my head, and that's what you would kind of expect if it's something bad. It's normally a knee or whatever, and that'll put you out for the season or whatever. I hope that that's not the case, of course, because that dude runs the ball just hammers it, and that's what he was doing very well for us, extremely well. He's the one that has the most of those yards. I mean, of just pounding the ball.
Back. Wilson's the power back, and having that exchange there is great, and you throw in Killens to switch it up. Even football side, he's 18, and to have an injury like that, hopefully if it's not severe, you think about that guy just being able to walk normally the rest of his life. I just don't like seeing those kind of injuries, period, to any player,
Well, unfortunately, that's what we deal with when we play on turf, number one, anyway. Now, when I used to play back in the day, I played on the old turf, the AstroTurf, the stuff that was like playing on concrete. It was horrible.
Right.
But we also didn't have nearly as many ACL injuries as they do with this field turf that has the rubber particles in it, that's more like grass. Yeah. It's soft. But sometimes you can just plant the wrong way, and it happens all the time. And your knee you plant, and your knee goes the opposite direction that your foot does, and it's not a good thing. But when the field is bad like it was tonight, I mean, it looked horrible on TV, even though the broadcast was bad and all that stuff. It's horrible that, I don't know. I mean, I think teams or universities should be held liable for their fields being in such horrible condition. Down here, the Citrus Bowl, now the Camping World Bowl, had to replace all their stuff because it was so horrible. That was more of a mud situation, I think, but they have that field turf. And we've seen soccer players. If you follow Orlando City, there's been a couple guys that have hurt themselves on the turf. But I don't know. I don't like it that people get hurt because of the surface that they're playing on. You don't see nearly as many injuries.
Go
ahead.
The turf's gotten a lot better compared to when you played, and that's a good point. My uncle actually used to work for a company for close to a decade that did track resurfacing and for like track and field, as well as football turf, soccer turf, lacrosse turfs. And he would just tell me a lot of it has to do, there's like a superstructure underneath the field, and depending on what they put in there has to do with a lot of how the ground gives to what you were saying. So if they cheap out, and they're all, since there's no standard in the NCAA to the field that, at least that I'm aware of or he was aware of, if they cheap out, the type of give in the field can cave in. And we've even seen this in the pros where they'll slide and the field literally caves in.
Yeah.
And it's not like regular. I play soccer once a week over by Sanford International Airport. There's like a facility over there with baseball and all sorts of stuff. And the fields over there are pretty good, but it's not like playing on grass. The ground isn't natural, and guys roll their ankles in ways they wouldn't on grass. And it's I don't know. I didn't really look back, like you mentioned, on how people used to strain MCLs and ACLs. But when you mention that a second ago, that's a good point. I don't remember growing up playing. I always played on natural grass or the old school AstroTurf. In the 80s,
it would be interesting to see if somebody would look that up to see how much the ACL injuries have increased.
Right.
It would be interesting. I could be completely wrong, but I don't remember when I played even hearing nearly as many people tearing their ACLs.
Right. Well, another interesting fact, too, and this was something somebody said on the boards a while ago, and I've read, too, the sports training now puts so much emphasis on quad development that, and I'm not pretty big into fitness myself, though, but they put so much emphasis into quad development, hamstrings lag, and without strong hamstrings, that puts a lot of extra stress on your MCL and ACL. And so there's a theory that has contributed a lot to the increase in injuries as well, as kids have trained through high school, especially using squats. They don't put enough emphasis on deadlifts or leg curls to get those hamstrings strengthened as well through the butt as well. That puts a lot of extra effort or a lot of extra stress on the knee joints. But hey, I've chatted long enough. I'll let some other guys get in. But any more thoughts you have on the ACL and turf-related injuries? I'd love to hear that as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much, man. I enjoy talking to you. Please call back again.
Thanks. Take care, guys. Bye.
All right. Take it easy. All right, awesome. Yeah, I'll look into that. I mean, I'll see what I can find and see if more. I believe that more people are tearing their ACLs. And, Night Bagel makes a good point on here. There's a standard for the rubber pellet depth. If any of you have ever stepped in, if you've never been on AstroTurf, or not AstroTurf, but some of you, I'm sure, have played on AstroTurf before. There's some older guys in here that comment. I don't know about... I'm sure, Chris, that you played on AstroTurf at one point or another. But the stuff that I played on was the same stuff that you can go and buy pretty much at Home Depot. That, fake grass-looking stuff that you carpet your back deck with or something. That it was like less than a quarter of an inch thick, and there was concrete underneath it. And it was like, we'd tear our elbows up and our hands and our knees. I mean, it was horrible. You'd get carpet burns. And if you've ever stepped on the indoor practice field, I heard that they opened that up for people after the last home game at UCF, the indoor facility, I guess, for people to go look at it or something. I don't know. But I heard people went in there. If you've ever walked on that field, that is what the turf is like nowadays. That is the actual turf that is in most of the stadiums that have turf that is not natural grass. Chris says that he played on the turf, and it was like concrete. It was extremely dangerous. Concussions and anytime that you hit that stuff, it was literally like playing on concrete. It was horrible. But anyway, the turf that is in the indoor facility at UCF, if you ever have a chance to walk on it, it's a different feel, and I've never got to play on that stuff. That I don't know if it was developed while I was playing, but we never played on it. I don't think anybody had it. I love to play on natural grass because your cleats could dig into it. You could wear, different cleats. Depending on the field conditions, or if you've ever walked on an NFL field, because most of those NFL fields are the new good turf. It's a totally different thing. It is weird. Chris says that it's like playing on rubber grass, and it is, and there's these rubber pellets that are in, I guess they grind up old tires is what I've been told, and they use that, and sand. There's both of those things in there. Sometimes you can see it on guys' arms and stuff when they get sweaty or it rains and they go down, and take a look sometime on the TV when you're watching a game, and sometimes you can see these rubber pellets all over, a guy's arm or whatever. One of the concerns that I've always had, and you don't hear about it too often, but that stuff getting in people's eyes. That's one thing that I have always, kind of worried about, and I think that I would fear the most. I have pretty sensitive eyes, so that would be one thing that I would be worried about as far as that goes. Anyway, So tomorrow we are going to do our regular podcast, and it's going to be out, usually get it up by 10 or 11 o'clock Eastern time. I am going to, after we get done here, I'm going to put this up for a replay, and so you can listen to this back, and the people that didn't have a chance to listen to live can do that. Hey, I appreciate everybody that has called in, the guys that have called in multiple times especially. I know that this new phone system, it's going to take a little bit of time for me to get to figure out how I'm going to do it, because the lines can just ring and ring and ring, and it's hard for me to sit here and see everybody and get all the calls. So again, one more thing to work out here, but I appreciate everybody sticking with us. We are trying to do this better than anybody's ever done it before. That's my expectation, and I want to do stuff that other people haven't done before. And it's 2016. You don't have to be on the radio anymore to reach a crowd. You don't have to be on the radio anymore to have a show like this where people can call in and express their thoughts about what they saw. Yeah. But so we will get it. We'll get it. New technology is a beautiful thing. I appreciate everyone. I think that's going to do it for us tonight. This has been about, I don't know, how much have we done? I think we've done an hour and 40 minutes. But the phone lines have chilled, and it's getting late. So I think that that's going to be about it. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that has called in again. And we will look forward to talking to you on the podcast tomorrow. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you tell all your friends about all of this stuff. Please, please, please. I can't ask for you to do anything more but to tell your friends. And we want to, really take this someplace and do a lot more. So thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. UCF did wonderful things tonight. I'm not trying to be a downer on that. I just, like I said, am trying to be cautious. We've got a lot better teams than we played tonight to play. And so that will do it. Thank you so much for everybody that's called, though. I greatly appreciate it. Have a good night. I'm Andrew Phegley, and this has been Knightline Postgame Live, and we will be back doing this postgame live show next Saturday, and it will be approximately 3:30 p.m. When the clock expires, we go live. Thank you very much. Have a good night.